nó cái giống được số lượng số tuổi này, để là của nhân dân trái như bên môi USA TV trong xe để tôi mình chỉ trong này trong lúc xe tại sao nó khó sở sự của cho tôi một trong này số lượng số tuổi tàu nó chỉ có nó được cũng cho trong đời bên luôn trong Fresno, Saint California như là tích America nó tụ cái trái chia là một trong đời hệ tiệp bé là chuột trò trái này yêu tàu li chỉ tu lâu cay là xưa nó nè chỉ có nó mà tụ cái trái nó mà nếu mua hay là cho nó chỉ nếu cũng nhiều hóa tự là chuyện đấy tại sao nó thế là một trò thầu lúa và chúa linh tu nông tiền này của bé trong ở trên này của chị là chỉ ít được cái trái như là bên luôn trong Fresno nó là cũng tàu mua thả cho là một số vì thế tôi cái cha nó chữ tao ló nó mà lấy cú hai tiền thứ bí bữa thời trong ở xe của chúa là hai tiền thứ mua cho tí nên hai tiền là oli hai một trâu dây do là một trâu cho trồng phơi này hai tiền cho cái quả nó quan tàu dây đồng hư là nè quan chỉ mua chiếc chống tủ tí nên là thứ phong đi là một trâu đó chỉ mà chỉ bữa thời trong ở xe của chúa nó là một số tại sao nó là cú tàu ở đây chỉ lý thế nhớ cho hậu lú giò nó mà city chỉ nhớ là county nó mà cho nhớ là hậu giò city nó mà là từ mỗi tụ cái trái nó là chỉ bút tin hình yêu chia tên đó tên giả thì cho chia yêu tỏ liệt tên là chỉ bút mua tên đó là chỉ giao liên nó chỉ cho sẽ là nhớ hậu giò là bây giờ là in bao cho tên đó là tất nhiên mà cho tên nhớ là sao và toàn đồ giò tên đó cho nhớ là sao county tên đó nó chỉ cho nó mà nếu cũng chẳng bù yêu chia số tên đó nó chỉ giao liên nó tại sao nó khó tính mình nó là một trong hay là một trò xe đời như là cái lúa giò nó chỉ có tụ cái chai thì do là một tờ chia nó chỉ có thấy tụ cái chai do thả là một số thì chụp bút rồi bé xe đời cho thì mua yêu cái còn mà lâu cái nữa yêu lâu cái chụp bút cả như thế này chỉ mua cả tàu này đại tàu để đại license đại permit đó nó chỉ là chụp bút này yêu cho lý trí đâu chứ nó chỉ này chỉ qua lý trả rồi nhưng tàu tới khi mà cho thì dùng tàu cho lý lia trâu tụi dây lỡ nó chỉ lia chủ tàu mù qua đèn tàu đỡ để permit cho tàu liên đỡ chỉ là khi nó nếu cũng vậy ít cho cái trái thì tại sao nó nhất là lúc gì cho nó là một thả nó chỉ là khi nó cũng vậy ít khó thì là một qua tính mình tàu trở nên là một trong đời bé cho hải mong sự đời vì thế bé mua bé cho cái trái thì bé chủ tàu xí tụ khai nữa là chỉ có dùng một liên đỡ tụ sư chỉ giàu rồi bé nhiều xí cho là một bé cho ở lý hải cái trái của nó nếu cũng tàu mua tàu khó lù tàu xí thả thế tất nhiên mà cũng học biết mình chỉ cho nên cái này họ bảo mình sự vấn đề của cho ít cho video thì cũng tao một cổng thế để bé cũng mua là một sĩ thả như đó bé rõ nó cho bé cho thay cho họ rõ mong nó cho nó chữ là sĩ cho thì là cho thay cho như họ dễ rõ nó tôi muốn cho họ thả thế chỉ cho nên là khó tụi cái trái nó nếu cũng tự lò mù nó là chỉ nếu cũng hay tiền do tiền này nên lên tôi ở lên tới nếu do chủ hay tiền nếu mua lâu cái tàu cha lý trâu tụ sát sầu lỡ nó chỉ nên chủ tàu một qua ý đại permit nữa đại permit là mà nếu tiêu qua đại này đại application thật thao rồi nên một qua đó nó chỉ nên do block cho $1 nữa nè nếu họจะตรงcái này tàu một thể họ đó họ cho lên đó là xua xong là mà nên mua do tàu thể li off block cho $1trong này họ permit fee chỉ trong gói giờ lấy bé vô chế mà giờ xua xong bé chủ tàu một vô đại permit chế cho là lọt bên lúc chơi cho nó chỉ biết chủ tàu mỗi trong cái liền đời thế này chỉ cho là một bóng đồ tại sao rồi biết cho yêu chia sẻ nè cho yêu lò cái chỉ cho liền đời tại sao nếu cô yêu mua liền nó chỉ khó tụ chạy nó là cô yêu cho chạy rồi tụ cái chạy chia nó mà trời lý khó cô tàu muốn nhận là cho tàu đỡ tên đời mình gì thế là cô thả cho họ thì là một chỗ tụ cái chạy chia nó giờ thì này lên từ yêu cái tàu nên chỉ mua nên tàu mua để permit nữa là chỉ cho và tôi chứng sử mua cái chạy tôi muốn sai sửa tên đó như thế này chỉ mua là chỉ là mua cái trái tôi muốn này cho cái nên để cho một trong đó là cho chờ là cô yêu chơi sửa tất nhiên mà là một trâu nông trâu này là một trâu nông trâu này cái nếu muốn cho cái nó tàu chỉ cú sai thì giờ thì họ trâu nông là cú chỉ hai cái mình tất nhiên là một trâu nông là một cú sai thì ổn định này muốn cho tàu này cái mà nếu chủ tàu muốn hoặc cái tàu này là permit cho nên muốn mà là xử lý cả món này cái rồi tất nhiên là chỉ tàu hai lên đấy nhớ được hoàn toàn đấy tất nhiên mà họ làm mà những họ cú sai thìแต่เรายิ่งหมู่ลินแต่วิธีเราหมดโจน้องโจนี่ก็เนี่ยหมู่จ้อนี่จะใกล้เด้อยังแต่ต่อการโจน้องเด้อเนี่ยจุ่มหมู่จ้อนี่จะใกล้เด้อเหรอนะเจ้เรายังหมดนี่จะใกล้เนาะมั่วหมู่เราสิหมดในตัวนั่นแหละเจ้าคนนั้นเนี่ยเราหมดโจเด้อจะใจเนาะnhớ cho họ như thế thì là một trong những chỗ nhiệt cho cái sinh giờ nữa như thế này họ nhiệt cho cái sinh giờ nó chỉ như thế là tuần đầy tàu này nó chỉ nên cho cái sinh giờ nó chỉ là gì một tua kia là sự nó thế chỉ ta lên đó này ít thôi này khó kế chậu này là cái gì nếu lỡ mỗi tuần cái gì trong này ít $1 per violation nó mà nó chỉ là ý rồi là tôi bỏ này xứ mà cũng chỉ bảo được per violation nó khó ý rồi này uốn nữa mua bị chơi khó violation mua bị chơi khó xấu nhớ đâu là ý rồi lần đấy này nữa chỉ cho nên mà nó hay được per violation nó mà giờ ít bộ đồ lạ nữa chỉ cho nên là mà họ nó nếu cũng chỉ mình thế nó chỉ tới rồi hay tiền là tuần đấy này ý rồi sẽ ít bộ đồ lạ rồi sẽ ý rồi là tuần đấy này là mua số tiền mua bị chơi giả xấu nếu mua nhớ hậu nó chỉ ít khó xấu nữa nó ít bộ đồ lạ nữa chỉ giờ thì là một số là ở bên kho này chỉ nên cũng bảo thì ít khỏi ít bộ đồ lạ chỉ là mua và hay thì giờ bé nó chỉ nên tao cho bé bộ đồ lạแต่สิ่งที่เราเห็นตอนนี้สิตอนนี้เราเที่ยวนี่จะม้วนเตาขอเที่ยวนี่จะ equal violation นี่จะจีบตัวหลานนั่นจะเขาเนี่ยกันเสด็จฮันตรงกันเสียกับมึงตัวคนเราเที่ยวจีจะเรียนมาแต่สิ่งนั้นมาจ่อว่าไปจ่อว่าจ่อถ้าจ่อเนี่ยเขาไปรุ่นช่อง Fresno เนาะแล้วจะมั่วเกชิถาตอนนี้เนาะตรงน้องตีชาเนี่ยรู้เก่าลินดูน้องตีชาเนาะเขาจ่อแต่งเชิญจ่อจีจะเรียนหายเคลียร์เราไปจงเนี่ยสิก็ที่ในใจอยู่แต่ในยอดเขา Fresno County nên chỉ cú sát thì họ dùng này tàu tôi muốn lòng thiệt, tại vì nó này tàu tôi muốn lòng thiệt, xin này bộ tàu giờ cho này xua thiệt, chỉ họ nói này cú hiểu họ thì giờ là muốn bông trồng đầu họ đầu giả thiệt giờ là muốn chia thì tàu biết chọn mong xứ đó, nhưng mà phèn tàu, nhưng họ thì tàu biết chọn mong vì để biết sự khai đầu hiện cho là muốn biết cái cái chạy nó này chỉ, tại vì nó này cú hiểu họ giờ là một linh đó, tụ cái chạy nó chỉ là tàu là một linh nó, mỗi cho là một cha tàu linh nó khi đó này sẽ đỡ, giờ thì này họ mua lúa đá chi, này chỉ cái xe khát thứ, thì đó nó là cú sát thì này tàu tàu nên lúc xua thế chỉ sau ô li bên phong hải nên mù nên sẽ nên ô li chặt chỉ bên ô li đào sẽ là này nhiều chủ tàu tờ nhiều lúc chơi mua tờ nhiều lúc xua thế lúc đây sẽ liếm lôngอยู่sẽ liếm kho tàu tụi cái chạy nó này chỉ còn này cũng thấy kho nhiều kho tờ chỉ chia nó dọn giống tàu nông tỷ xa trong lúc cổ Hindu nó này nhất là họ chờ đã board là họ meeting nhất là đang thằng Fresno nó là mua còn đấy nó chỉ cụ sa tiền này sẽ đợi giờ tiền lên thiên chén nữa là cụ sa tiền không đợi giờ mua cái chồng mong chống là giờ tờ tôi một tròn đá thế chỉ giờ Lino cũng mua thả là Lino là mình chỉ tên là cho bé sẽ đợi tên là cả bé sẽ đợi họ tao báo cho họ thế giờ Lino cũng không mua quỹ đại video thế thì cũng chắc là một cờ cũng có tao một cổng cho ilu mua sĩ thả tên là mình chỉ thế cờ tàu cho lù sẽ đợi họ sĩ thả mình chỉ tôi một tròn này sẽ đợi họ tàu sai thế là chỉ họ nói cho họ thay sau tôi một sĩ thả đó chỉ cũng mua họ rồi thì thế mà đi cho họ đợi tao cá mình chỉ gì tới rồi đại tận đây nó mà đi cho ít con gì thế rồi thì bây giờ mình sử dụng cho họ sử thản nó thế này chị mà muốn cho đó này sẽ được tao sai thế này chị sẽ được họ sử dụng sai chứ nên họ sẽ được họ mua lúa đá chí rồi dọn giống cho nên cho comment thiên dọn giống tôi muốn cùng thế cho họ tôi muốn sử thản sử sa lan nó sẽ là bây giờ tao đi trả giờ thì họ nó thuần không tỷ xa là tôi muốn sử thản như họ đỡ thâu lỡ này chị chủ yếu bé cho không tao cá xứ này chị tụi cái chạy nó nhưng trừ tao cái lò nó này chị vì nó không tỷ xa nó xứ trong lúc cổ Hindu nó là tôi một sĩ thản nó chỉ dọn trong tàu thì bé cho không tao cá được xứ nó chỉ như bóng rồi li cổ ý Hindu nó xứ chỉ tụi kia cha nó tự lo nó chỉ như thì bé sẽ đợi cho mua nhiều cái lầu cái nữa nó chỉ vô tàu trời là sao kia cha nó là nó chỉ giờ thì này sẽ đợi xa cái tụi kia cha nó chỉ sát thấu nó chỉ dọn trong vô tàu tự này lúc xưa vô tàu tông tôi một cổng thiết chỉ như là bé không một sai để video nói bé tao cá để video nó tá nó chỉ họ cũng một cơ họ để một cổng bài tận đây nó ta cũng mà cho đến đấy chắc là một tròn gì đâu bây giờ họ tóm lòng thế sẽ họ dùng chản gì thế tại vì mà họ chẳng chấp là chuyện không tỷ giá nè trong lúc cổ Hindu nó như là đang tham Fresno như là họ board meeting để chỉ cái này sẽ là tàu tua nó chỉ tua một cổng như là sang đá thế chỉ là lấy một sai đấy video nó ok.
Tua she thả không nào na I'm going to speak in English which I'm going to speak Mongolish. How about that? Okay. All right, my name is Maida. I just want to say thank you for everybody for attending tonight's meeting. It's so nice to see all of you here, especially my Hmong community. I love the fact that when something arises, we always come together and we also come together and speak and just, tonight's going to be about you. It's about hearing your voices and it's hearing about your thoughts. And tonight we're going to talk about the ordinance is coming up this Tuesday. That is, I think, led by County Supervisor Nathan Maggots, and so one of his staff is here. So I just want to share that Joshua Babcock is here to represent his county supervisor. So thank you for that. But I want to thank Trustees Thomas, Keisha Thomas, who's here today. She's always cared a lot of our Hmong community, and when she first heard about it, she's like, "I'm going to be here." We're going to have another trustee coming in a bit. So I just want to thank. Right here, Elizabeth, come over here. Yeah, I want to thank Trustee Elizabeth, Joan Anson Rosa for also being here. Both of them are Fresno Unified trustees, and they are just, people who continue to care about our community. And then my friend Keisha is running for Fresno City Council District 3 too. So I just wanted to highlight that. So thank you. And then I'm going to pass this over to my friend Pao Yang. He's going to lead some of the conversation. And then we're going to, if you have any questions, just hold on to your questions. And we're going to also give you an opportunity to provide feedback, okay?
nhớ rong cho bé cho nhà giá trị thế cho người cho tí sợ nữa rong li to bé nu nào họ bé lu rò mua thế giờ cũng cho là một chỗ chỗ đó bé hay mong đi rong xe bé sợ họ thông xe công chữ bé họ tua sĩ thà trong mà nói ở châu nè cho ở thì ở nhà ở gì sợ đó họ chỉ sáng chế là mua họ ordinance là một châu nữa bé cho họ yêu cái à rong li là cô mua cho là một số tây giả nữa cô rong tây giả nữa cô chỉ rong especially là một chỗ bé chạy mong bé giờ ý hay nâng bé mua bé tây cali cái chai bé sĩ tây chia nữa cho là một chỗ nữa bé địa tu họ nói cô giờ ý họ nữa chỉ rong cao là một chỗ bé但是cũng chẳng tao thì bé chỉ tu county supervisors là chỉ bảo cho bé mong cali cái chai là chỉ bảo cho họ impact là họ ordinance là chỗ bé chạy nâng cái mà nó rong hạt tiền là họ mua Nathan Magzik ya tu county supervisor nơi ya tu chỉ cho chai nó cái nơi tu representative Josh tu tua nó cái bé ở xe lò thì bé cho nó chữ nó bé sai to lỡ lò họ lựa cho bé chỉ do thì bé sai to lỡ chỉ do là một tờ trả bé nè ở cho đồ bé cho nên chắc chỉ sẽ là bé họ bám bả cho lỡ thế ya cái Rooster này Rooster bé gió vả là lu đào lu giò là một thơ bé là một ba bé tại vì giờ lấy chỉ bao bé giờ lần từ chỉ lấy gió ba chỉ tao bé theo là tờ số chỉ tao bé theo so Josh I'm very happy that you're here on behalf of Nathan Magzik. I know the Hmong community has been texting me like crazy I look at this ordinance as something very simple and very small. We're not talking about a shooting in the Hmong community or death in the Hmong community. So I thank you for being here. Keisha, thank you. And Elizabeth, thank you guys for always being here. Whenever there's an issue in the Hmong community, it's also your issue. And it says a lot about your leadership and your representation of our Hmong community. So I appreciate the two of you for being here. Ible na di kuya kan Josh la mo bia cho ka ordinance na ka inyo mang minji. Tại vì những khai can li cho nên nó là thế à, những chỉ giờ chỉ đây là chỉ còn nên là các bé ý lử có mừng mình chỉ bé họ mua lùn nông đi chào bé mà nông nửa thế, trong đó mua những đó Nathan Magzik thôi, tại khi nó là tôi nó cũng thả ta về, cũng text một đầu từ county supervisor Nathan Magzik thì cũng những mua bé mong có cái thợ cho nó thả mình chỉ trong nửa thế, nửa cái xia, cho nên thì cả hai đó này bé những giống mua nhưng lấy những yếu là một chỉ bé hồn rung ra rồi mình cái là meet us in the middle có hai là một học sinh tổ bé cho họ chỉ cho cái bố để bé有时读这啦叫了một ba bé chỉ hai cho số lúc bé mua cái nhiều tiền sao xia有名有我 play 起带我能我也有哩那bé是叫这啦啊thì họ nói họ lấy chỉ bao thì bà ta tức thà mình chỉ đâu lấy cái lấy tiếng cả xia thì mà nó thì những cái sao được tụ sát là tuổi bây mua chỉ là bây giờ bây từ mà họ hành gì để cả những họ tận cả mang nuôi các kỳ sĩ nữa cho lấy cho supervisor thải cái những cái bao bụng bia cả mang những chỉ cho họ impact rồi là bây mong nè rồi là bây họ culture thì bây họ religion nè những chỉ cho họ thì bây culture sư những bây họ religion là một trò bây lu năng nè thì thầu có thả cho đi nó này cái lời thiên linh khá xía bây là bây giờ chủ thiệt cả măng trong lỡ lời thiên linh chỉ dụ kế theo nè bây giờ lấy dụ kế là giờ tỷ bây nè còn là giờ họ cả bây cho tự tin linh mong sẽ là bây cả xía theo so Joshua I'm just explaining to the community about you being here on behalf of Supervisor Magzik and at the same time I also text with the supervisor a little bit about the concern of the Hmong community. I know I also share a little bit in text Supervisor Chavez about the concern, because they are concerned about our Hmong community when we are concerned. You know, especially when an ordinance is being drafted and it's going to be implemented into law, it impacts their constituents, so they want to make sure, is it negatively impacting the constituent, or is it something that could be amended or could be fixed? You know, and I think we still have time. We're not voting on it until next week. Even if it gets passed, we still get 30 days to go back and look at it to make sure that it doesn't have a drastic impact on our community when it comes to culture and religion. And I know that all 5 supervisors are very concerned about that as well. So at this moment, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. And I know you speak fast, so slow down. And the majority of the folks here speaks English, so you can kind of slow down and tell us some of the most important thing about the ordinance that have been shared on social media, because that's all we see. It's what's on social media. So if you can talk more about it, the numbers of roosters and hens and the different sites and locations and the permits and the costs and all of that, that will help us better understand what's going on. And then if anybody has any questions, they can always ask you. I'll be here to translate, but I'm pretty sure the community speaks English, so they can ask you directly. So, Tasha de Potato, Joshua, Supervisor Isaac. Joshua.
Thank you very much for having me here this evening. My name is Joshua Babcock. I'm a field representative for Supervisor Nathan Magsig. The first thing that I want to address is the purpose of the ordinance as it was written. So the purpose of this ordinance is to address the growing number of illegal rooster fighting operations in Fresno County. Currently, the county has no method of enforcement for illegal rooster fighting operations. Additionally, we want to address the inhumane treatment of roosters that are used for illegal fighting purposes, and to also address some of the noise concerns that we've heard about from constituents across the county. So my question for you here, how can this ordinance be modified to respect the cultural and religious practices of the Hmong community? The ordinance as it stands will come for review on October 7th, which is this Tuesday at the Board of Supervisors meeting at 9:30 a.m. But we want to hear from the community members on how we can potentially modify this ordinance to address some of the concerns. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, so please feel free to ask away, and I will answer to the best of my abilities.
Nên cháu tí họ chỉ bảo lưu mình cả nên pass cho ordinance nó tờ là họ chân cái là lúc họ phía cái có bảo mù chữ cho cái sinh giờ chỉ chờ cái chờ chạy nữa họ nói họ nên tua nên sao transportation là chỉ ta lên đó giờ bây họ mua chữ gì đi cha bảo mù trâu về bây giờ mua họ ordinance nó long còn nếu là một ba tổ bên long thế nào bây giờ tụ chia là một số cho các lý cái chạy nữa này kì lợi ích sản ngõ thế sản nông thế bây giờ này họ mua lúa nông lý chạy này họ mua lúa chữ gì này có tờ chữ lý chạy là tờ lúa chữ nó là trong tờ Joshua thế nhiều mất tận trên nên thêm mua cho nó cho là một thảo rồi cho thằng supervisor nên có mua lên từ xã nông lý chạy là nênภาษาnên tao có vũ từ ý chân chiến lúa nó trong nước ta chúa khát từ bên thả chỉ mang nôn tiếng này để mang gì đâu ya. Joshua, earlier some of the community members came and met with me and gave me a list of some of the concerns that they have. So you can take notes on this, and then at the same time, I can always email this to you as well, so you can share it with the supervisors. One thing that the Hmong community would like to share with the supervisor is that the Hmong people use the rooster for cultural and religious ceremonies. Examples of these ceremonies are a new birth of a child. We have over 60,000 Hmong community members living in the Central Valley, so you can imagine how many babies are born each day as well. We also use the roosters and the chickens for marriage. Whenever there is a marriage, there is a a lot of chickens and roosters that are used for those ceremonies as well. We also use the rooster for, we call it soul calling when there's an accident, like a car accident, a swimming accident, falling, etc., bad dream, or just feeling lonely and depressed, a lot of mental health issue. A lot of our Hmong community here that are still alive have PTSD from the secret war, so there's a lot of them that are here, so we use that rooster for that soul calling to make sure, so it's very therapeutic, it's a like psychological process that we use the rooster for. At the same time, funerals are very essential, and I know that in not just the Hmong community, but any ethnic community here in the United States, the funeral is probably one of the most important part of sending that individual and their spirit off to God, right? So they are very selective on the rooster, the type of rooster that are used during the funeral. And we have a funeral cultural practitioner, Mr. B, that is here. He teaches at Fresno State, and he can talk to about the cultural and the ritual of using that rooster in more details a little bit later on. And then we have our religion. We have a shaman, or a medicine man or woman. Whenever we have a shaman, so that happens every single day here within our Hmong community. And then the New Year, the Hmong New Year. Many of you have been to the Hmong New Year where we gather. Every household are killing the chickens and the rooster. Every married person has to have a pair of rooster for that New Year. So you can imagine the 60,000 Hmong folks and the folks that are married utilizing that rooster. And then at the same time, we have multiple families that raise chickens at the same location. Many of our folks don't own a home. Many of them are living in apartments, they're living in the city, and they can't raise the rooster. So guess what? They go and raise at their relative's house that has land or the farm there. So now at each location, there are like 10, 20 families raising chicken there. So you can see the impact of the ordinance at only 5 rooster. That's not going to work. You guys know that we have multiple generation living in each household. At the same time, we have many of among families here that they raise chicken for the legal poultry show throughout California. And you can just type in poultry show in California, and there are schedules throughout California, and I know many of the folks here are members of that club. So they raise it for that as well. So it doesn't make sense. What the Hmong community is asking, and they share this with me, is, they know that the supervisors work for them as well. We know that, we voted for them. We would respect that, and this is that time, but we also know that we neglect to educate them about who we are and our culture and our religion, and this is probably the perfect time to do that. At the same time, we know that we can meet it in the middle, and we know that the supervisors are willing to meet us in the middle, but to do that, you need to understand why we raise the chicken. Chicken is part of our life, our heritage, our culture, our DNA, and it's who we are as a community. So if the ordinance is going to go into effect and limit us with 5 rooster, that's really infringing on our religion, our culture, and who we are and our identity. And I think that is so important. Money can't buy that. And our community has been working so hard in the last 50 years to teach our children who we are, to find our identity, and to be part of this great country, right? It doesn't matter who the administration is. The country is still great. And we believe in that, and that's why they're here. That's why they're concerned, we have a medicine man, medicine woman, the shaman, they're here tonight as well, and they're expressing their concern about their religion. So I hope that the supervisors understand that. I am very confident that they do. My text with Nathan Magsick was very clear on some of what I've shared with you, and I know that the supervisor said, hey, Now that we know, we can always go back, take a look at this ordinance, and we can implement it. Believe me, we feel the same way about the illegal cockfighting and all that stuff. Those have its own rules, its own penalty. That we're not going against that. We're just talking about the numbers of roosters, and then even some of the fees. We don't mind registering that we raise roosters for cultural and religious practices and ceremonies. We don't mind registering ourselves, but we do mind about some of the fees. Some of these folks are on public assistance, and some of these are elderly folks, and they don't have the money to pay all these fees. So we would like to see there's a waiver, a cultural waiver for our community and any community that can justify what they use the chicken and the rooster for. So, we're not just fighting for our Hmong community. We're fighting for any community that has a similar use of the chicken or the rooster. And I think everybody deserves that opportunity, and then the supervisor, deserve to hear this from us as well. At the same time, as you can see, many of the folks that are here, they are very concerned about this. It's who they are, it's their livelihood. We got the new year right around the corner, and if this thing goes into effect, 30 days, that's November. That's when we start doing our New Year celebration, and that rooster is so important, and I share with one of my friends that, hey, I have 3 Black Angus on my land. I also have pigeons, and I have some dark-skinned chicken, and then I have some egg-laying hens, and I have some rooster. And then my brother also raises chicken there because he lives in an apartment. So I fall into that category, but I get it. I understand. I know what I need to do, but the majority of my community don't. The majority of my community are confused. The majority of my community are feeling like they're being suppressed and oppressed. The majority of my community are feeling like, hey, this is a slap in our face. That this is part of our religion. We didn't do anything illegal. What next? What are they coming after? My community is being deported back to the country that they fought against. My community is very, very stressed out. And as an organization that serve our API community, we have a mental health outpatient clinic. They come there. And these are some of the things that they talk about. So I didn't plan on coming here tonight until some of the community folks came to me and expressing a concern, because I don't see this as a big issue. But when they start talking about the psychological impact on them, then it becomes something that is priceless. Money can't buy what the supervisors and us and the folks at the county can do to prevent this from happening to our community. So I hope and I pray that the supervisors can all work together with our community as needed. Any input from us, I'll be more than happy to share that with you folks, so that you can go back, you can talk to the supervisors, so that they can come up with a better amendment that is fair and equitable for all of our Fresno community, not just for the Hmong community, but for everybody. And community, do you guys have any other questions?
cho tôi hãy cho chị để trực tiếp với phố với chợ nhà cái nó bây giờ chúng mình chạy một ngày đó nè nó cho nó sổ mà nó qua ăn được table thì nó one day mà chắc chạy nó phát nó.
Yeah, so he's concerned that this ordinance came out in 2019, and it probably didn't pass then, but it seems like it's going to pass now, and it seems like it's folks that don't like chicken crowing in the morning, trying to wake them up too early, and now they feel like, hey, we didn't know about this, and suddenly now you guys are going to pass this, and they feel discriminated against. They feel like they weren't part of this process. There was no listening session or talking about this and getting the community involved and getting folks that raise chicken involved. And then suddenly this ordinance come and, what are they trying to do here? So him as a registered voter is not very happy with this. So you can also take this back, and if you don't have an answer to why this was done the way it was, and you feel like it was done under the table, he's concerned about that. I don't know if you can answer that, Josh.
So a couple things that I can say. Our intention was never to impact the Hmong community disproportionately. We began to get concerns about roosters and the excess of illegal rooster fighting and noise concerns all the way back in 2019. Since then, the concerns and the complaints from constituents all throughout the district have grown exponentially. And so it was our desire to work with other supervisors and the sheriff's department to craft an ordinance that gives law enforcement the ability to fight and combat the illegal rooster fighting operations. As many of you are probably aware, these illegal rooster fighting operations can have hundreds of roosters on small parcels. We've seen instances where there's over 500 roosters, and the majority of them are treated very inhumanely, and that's a very big concern for our office and for the county as a whole. But it was never our intention to disproportionately affect the Hmong community in this way. And that's the reason I'm here tonight, is to listen to these concerns and find ways that we can address and potentially modify this ordinance to meet your needs.
And I apologize if I'm talking too fast.
You're good. You're good. But one little no we got you.
Ordinance I'm very happy to be here publicly, and hi Josh, and I have the trustees here. Like Paul said, because we're Hmong, we have religious and cultures, that's who we are, and we do, chickens are involved in spiritual healing, okay? We use for baby, we use for wedding, I mean, almost everything we do in our life has to do with our families. So I'm an owner of Vu Poultry Farm here in Fresno. So I will have the more idea what the population chicken is, because right now I don't even have enough, okay? And if this goes on, no chicken, okay? Right? And you know, I deal with people, customers, most of these people here are my customers. And also, at this time of the year, right now to December, I have people come from San Diego all the way to Reagan, come here to buy chicken because they don't have any for spiritual or religions and culture, okay, for use. And I mean, I'm not even talking about Fresno. You know, we got people from other cities. So that's a big impact. And if this happened, then you know it's gonna be a big ripple effect to the Asian, Hmong communities. So just, and you know, I'm here. Just let you know, I really don't agree with this ordinance that you guys are doing because it will ruin a lot of people, okay? I understand that there is some illegal issues going on, but the major impact is not there, okay? So thank you very much, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Shao, and I wasn't gonna come, but a friend mentioned about it, so I'm thinking, and I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that sounds kind of, it's gonna affect Hmong people. So my he's a shaman, you know, he did his job, he keep me in line, know the culture, know the religion. My son didn't want to come tonight, but told him they have school tomorrow. So I think that you guys know that if I don't come here tonight and listen or fight this, then I let my parents down and my people down. So I just want to let you guys know that if it does pass, that's how I feel about it. And also, what I think about it is like, you guys said this came about because of the cockfighting. I think there should be a different type of, fix this thing where it gears towards that, not just, because we don't know what we can affect people, because one bad apple, and then it's ruining everything, but I think that we can fix that. So that's just how I feel, but mainly it's about down generation after generation. If I don't do it, come and fight, listen to this or fight this, mainly it's for our future, our kids. You know, we're gonna let our parents down.
I see that a lot of the community leaders are here as well. And on the weekends, usually most of us go around town and visit families. And usually there's, no, in the weekends alone, usually each of us will attend like 2 or 3 events per day. And chickens are always at the table. So I cannot see how 5 roosters will last the whole weekend. Because people, that is very essential to the Hmong culture. Almost every aspect of the culture requires at least 2 chicken, 1 rooster and 1 hen. So that I just want to express that there are many members who are not here, but they're represented over here, and they understand that if this ordinance passed, that would affect many families. And it's not because not everyone raises chicken, but everyone uses chicken.
Right.
I'm here as a farmer, and talk about county property that from the mountain all the way to past 5, Korenga, you know, all the stuff. So in order for us to raise more chicken, you have to have permit. And that is a burden to the citizen of Fresno County. We have to pay fee, we have to do a lot of stuff. So that is a burden to the citizen of this county. And whoever passed this law, we surely remember we go to vote him out. Okay? So remember that. And we are here as a, I don't know, in the past like 20, 30 years, we used to be quiet and used to be a harmony community until like this board of supervisors group coming in and they pass all kind of like ordinance.
Living creature impact. Therefore, they allow all kind of animals to go call upon the moon and the sun to come back. And everybody scared the moon and the sun. But until the rooster were assigned to go call them. And when they go call them, the moon and the sun, mother moon and the mother sun look at the chicken and say, he's nice. He's not afraid. He doesn't have a hand. He cannot beat us up. Let's go away. He said, what's the message? When the rooster said, look, you get one away. The earth got so dark and now everybody dying. Therefore, they come back. And so that kind of relationship of legendary and ritual with the Hmong and the rooster, they are like a brother sister that they depend each other to reconnection from this life to the next life. And without the rooster, they will stop all this ritual together. They can't make this ritual. I understand the fighting. I'm really appreciative for the county to do that. But how can we come at our way? Earlier, Mr. Powell was talking about the fee. I think if the fee you impose upon this ritual for race rooster, I think that also would be an issue because you look at the fee, so costly. And these people were on their own trying to, their religion is not like an institution, like a church. And they have somebody to pay or somebody to cover the fee and they can do things. There's this immediate family services that they're on their own. And so therefore, I think that when you have somebody or like you represent the board supervisor come here to listen to Hmong community. We really appreciate that. But once again, how do we find a way to do this together, live among each other, so that this ordinance won't not impact the group of ritual Rooster the same way that the group that raised the rooster for fight. And I think that would be a fair line for us to walk. But other than that, I think it will have a great impact in the community, and the board will probably hear about later on. And I'm really glad that all the elected officials that you are here today, trying to listen, trying to take back an office. Once again, if I ever needed to be anything to talk to the board supervisor to get them further than this, I'm more than happy to assist in any way that I could to mediate this whole thing out so it'll be peace in our community.
Thank you for sharing some of the commentary. A couple questions that I have. I've heard that the permit fees are going to be one of the serious issues related to this ordinance. But what are the tenets of the ordinance that are most difficult or most problematic for the religious and cultural practices? What number of roosters is necessary, is needed within the community? We want to know ways that we can potentially modify this ordinance. So I've heard that the permit fees are a big issue, but what number of roosters is needed? That's the big question that we have. If anyone could answer that one, that would be extremely helpful.
Josh, I just want to make a statement with your question.
Mm-hmm. So I live in the county. I'm a Bang. My name is Tsunkai Tai Bang. Thank you. But like a lot of us will say, a lot of us doesn't live in the county. A lot of us lives in the city. We don't have the opportunity to raise chicken. I'm a Bang. We have about 33 clan in here. My single clan has about 90 family. I have 2 brothers married, 3 sisters that is married as well too. I raise about 10 to 12 rooster every year, and during the New Year ceremony, I cannot even provide for the distant relative as far as rooster. My rooster just pretty much covered my sister and my brothers and maybe my uncles, maybe 1 or 2 of them. So I just want to, there's no definite number for you. We cannot say this amount is going to satisfy us. Because to satisfy me, which I don't have the capacity to do it, to service 90 family of my family. But I can't do that. So there is not a definite answer for you, but definitely this will be a big impact for all of us. So I just want to make sure I make that statement for you so you understand.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Okay, my English is not that great, so I don't know how to translate it. I'm one of the shame they say jingle bell. Okay, kuya itu cina na. Jadi kuya kau pay tu jelah hati aku cuma tahu ni pay plot tu ni tu na. Pay orang na jadi bisa dia kupa orang na jadi kupa orang na jadi kupa jadi tua na. Jadi tua jadi munya kaya kaca jadi apa ni munya tu siapa pengkau jadi tu pun deh nyaw hade lah kupa mua. Jadi tu ulah lau ni jadi cuma itu lau kaya jadi kuya lah tenang. Jadi kuya lah jadi tu lau kaya ni kuah aja. Lau cái số mua cái gì đấy thì cái đó khá là chế. Nên chỉ bé chỉ lên này bé chỉ bao để mới cố để in lưu ý để mà cái tua bé cho năng nè. Chỉ lưu ý để cô, chỉ có bé thôi khai được tăng này. Đi nào nè, chỉ khi những cái này rồi thì bé chỉ bao để cho tụi đi, cho năng chỉ năng đi cố là nè chỉ theo ông này năng chỉ bé chỉ bao để in lưu ý là cho để bà, yên thì bé chỉ có bé bao nhiêu tiền nè, ok, thì có chọn đâu, cái bé rồi.
So he's a shaman. He's one of the shaman that are here tonight, and he was expressing how, you know, in a week he does 3 or 4 different ceremonies, ritual as a shaman, being asked in each of the family. And when he's in his trance as a shaman doing his ceremony, you know, he's always chasing the lost soul. And when he's chasing the lost soul in that realm, that spiritual realm, they need that rooster. You know, so you can't quantify how many rooster that the religion is going to use because of the amount of issues that come up. So it's not like, hey, I'm doing there's 3 kids, so we're gonna need 3 rooster for this week for the Hmong community. It doesn't work that way. So if you can bring that back to the supervisor, that it's hard to quantify the amount of rooster that is needed, because I can wake up tomorrow, have a bad dream, and because I'm religious, I'm gonna call that guy to come in and do a soul calling for me, because in my dream, I feel like my soul left my body. You get it? So it's hard to quantify of those 60,000 people who's having that dream that night, right? So if the supervisor asks about the number of chickens that is gonna suffice each of the Hmong family, can't quantify that. Any other questions? Okay.
I have a comment. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry, but to speak on behalf of myself, my name is May Vang. Usually I don't speak in front of all my community and my clan leaders, give them that respect, because it's kind of like the men's world. In this case, it's not the men's world, it's my world as well. I just want to make it very quick and easy, because we're all here for the same thing. We all want the same thing. I want to give a little history about myself. Thank you and welcome Nathan and everybody else who is here tonight for coming out to the community and hear our concerns and worries. My family and I came to this country in 1978. I grew up in Fresno, lived in Fresno County, not cities, for 26 years, to be exact. I am currently a teacher at Bang Pao Elementary School, where Fresno Unified School District, I taught 31 years to be exact. My husband is a retirement from Sunnyside High School, Katina, Kututia, Nikava. I am also a shaman and still practice my religion and hoping to practice and pass on to my children and their children. I'm proud to be a Hmong. Our culture and religion honor the rooster from the time we are conceived in our mother's womb, using that rooster before we were even born. That's what I was taught. That's what I still practice. So I cannot tell you the number of roosters we are going to use till the day I'm not here, to be exact. We used before birth and continue to use the roosters in traditions after birth. We use roosters to heal the sick soul, including the old and the young ones as well. Funerals, weddings, just to name a few, you already heard from the community. Lots of ways, many ways that we use roosters. It's very common practice for the Hmong people to use roosters in traditional and cultural ceremonies. Roosters play a very important major role in our Hmong community. I myself and my husband, he has 8 brothers and 1 sister. We use roosters every month, almost like every year. We cannot live without roosters in our life. So I cannot tell you how many roosters I can raise and for my families to use. If you limit to 5 roosters, I cannot afford to have a permit, to have fees, have inspections on my property, because 5 roosters is not enough for me. I'm sorry, but you know what? When that day comes, I cannot share my rooster with my families, my siblings, even my mother-in-law. I cannot share that rooster because 5 is not even enough for myself. So we're going to have a problem in this community. So to make this short, with this being said, Nathan, please take it to the board and have them reconsider that this new law will severely impact our Hmong traditions and have a great devastating effect on our culture. For generations, the use of rooster is an essential part of our spiritual, our culture, and religious practices, beginning even before birth, again, and continue throughout our life. Limiting the number of roosters that we could keep there will interfere with our ability to fully practice and pass these traditions for generations. We, the Hmong community, respectfully urge you, the Board of Supervisor. Sorry, this really hits me. that the use of roosters, the culture and significance of the roosters to the Hmong community is very important to us. And not to move forward with this new law in Fresno. I thank you and all my leaders in Fresno. Thank you. Please do take that.
So I know this is out of the ordinary for me to say something, but I am family at heart. One thing that I always like to stress is our power to vote. If you don't like something, go start a petition. The petition is the numbers. You get a petition started and you show them how unhappy you are with this. My papa says, nothing written, nothing said. If you didn't write it down, it doesn't matter. Get a petition started.
We have one right here. Joshua, right? Yes. Yeah, I think I spoke to you yesterday on the phone about my dad.
Yes, we did.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. So I do have a question for you. The ordinance as it currently stands does allow exemptions for 4-H and FFA groups, correct? Can you speak about the limitations in the number of roosters for those organizations and how that can be applied to our Hmong community as well?
All right, so for FFA and 4-H exemptions, such members must still apply for and obtain a permit to keep a rooster if they want more than 5. So the permitting would still apply to individuals of FFA and 4-H. They can keep the number of roosters specified in their official project documentation, even if that number is greater than 24, provided they meet the following requirements. They must show written proof of current membership in 4-H or FFA or any similar program. They must provide documentation approved by the relevant organization's advisors that specifies the project detail, number of roosters, breed of roosters, purpose, duration, and property address. Only the roosters designated in that documentation may be kept. So even with exemptions through FFA and 4-H, there would still need to be a permitting process, there would still be documentation required.
Is there a cost for the permit for those exemptions?
Yes, the permit costs are the exact same as a traditional community member. And I can give you those numbers. Give me 1 second. The annual permit fee is $240 and a one-time non-refundable administrative applicant fee of $440. So $440 is the one-time fee and the annual renewal fee is $240.
And for clarity, there's no limitations on the number of roosters if they receive that exemption, correct?
Not that I am aware of, no.
I sense that the number one concern is cockfighting or animal cruelty concerns. So I think there's a ground for this. Why not just penalize those who violate the law instead of limiting roosters for everybody? I think that may be the way to go. Yeah, there's a law. There's a law against animal cruelty. Why not just enforce that law?
Thank you guys for showing up and listening to us. My name is Sean. My last name is Hurd. I'm a son to a shaman. My brother's a shaman. I'm against this ordinance because I believe my religious rights are being violated. It feels to me that this is nothing more than a money grabbing scheme because you guys are not using our tax dollars correctly. And this is another way to tax the people. As a business owner, property owner, I pay a lot of property taxes, and I feel that my tax dollars should be used, you know, to more important and pressing issues. You know, as a landowner, I let elderly people that lives in an apartment, they got no place to raise their chickens for their religious uses. So I got more than 20 elderly people, people that lives in the city that they don't have no land. They don't want to raise there because they're gonna get cited. So I say, can you please let me raise just a few chickens? You know, and that goes against my community's religion. You know what I mean? So B right there, he brought something up. If it's the criminal concern, there's already laws in place. Why don't you just prosecute them? You know. But to force like a whole group of people just because of a few bad apples, you know, it's very undemocratic, and please reconsider this ordinance. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm probably half the age of all these guys here anyways. I depend on the older folks for my chickens. I work a lot of hours, and so when it's not even the religion, it's the culture. Because I don't follow the old religion anymore. I'm Christian, and I still depend on the roosters. So, like, my question to you, Joshua, right?
Yes.
Have you ever bought a rooster?
I have not.
You know how hard it is to find a rooster? I just had my daughter, all right? It took me about 20 different people to get one rooster. And you imagine, new poultry. I called, they had no rooster. I depend on him for my roosters. I have 14 siblings. They all depend on food poultry for roosters. You can't just buy any ugly roosters just to kill. They have to be nice, pretty. You know, it's part of just being a person. You know, and not only that, I can ask anybody in here, if it goes down to 5 roosters, even I'm willing to pay $200-$300 for your roosters just because I need it, you're not going to sell it. It's like what she said. She's not going to give it to her mom, her sister, her brother because she needs it for herself. So where am I going to find my roosters? I can't raise them. I live in the city. I live in Clovis. You know, I get cited parking in front of my house, parking my boat, and I own my boat. You know, and so my biggest concern is, you know, I raise chickens at my brother's house just because, you know, I know in the future I'm gonna have kids. You know, they're like they said, you know, our yearly thing is coming up. Even though we're Christian, we still do the same thing. I need roosters, and like when he said, these roosters, you can't kill 5-6 month roosters. That's not even considered a rooster. I have 3-month chickens crowing already. Do you guys consider those roosters?
Roosters in the, actually, do you mind if I answer that real quick?
So roosters, as defined in the ordinance, are male chickens, 6 months or older, with full adult plumage and the ability to crow. That is how the current ordinance defines roosters.
So our roosters at 6 months, we can't even use them. They crow and everything, and because our roosters are totally different from the fighting roosters that you guys see. That, you know, not to be like a racist or anything, but like the Mexican roosters, right? They're a lot smaller, a lot smaller, so their feathers come in faster. I don't know if they understand that part. Our roosters, man, I got roosters 8-9 months, and they still look, they're still babies. I can't even use them, you know. And so, if you guys consider those roosters as roosters, then you know we can't even use them, you know. And so I see how that's going to go against us. And like I said, the biggest thing is you can ask anybody right here if they're willing, even right now, if they're willing to sell the roosters to you. I guarantee you, it's going to be very hard for you to find a rooster. And with that word, if it's going to pass or not, we're not going to be able to find any anywhere. Even like I said, he owns chickens. He owns a poultry. I can't find chickens from him. So that's all I have to say.
I kind of answered that. Was there anything that I didn't answer? Question? No, you answered it. Okay, just want to make sure.
Josh, thank you for your definition of the rooster. And I also saw your ordinance here talk about 6 men and consider as a rooster. And my definition of the rooster for spiritual use, it had to be 12 months or older. So if the Bull County used this ordinance to sanction the community, the Hmong community will not find a rooster for ritual use. Same thing for the shaman. When I have 2 shamans spoke here, in order to use the rooster to help the shaman to fight the evil in the spiritual realm, that rooster had to be at least 12 months up, fully grown. 6 men, it's just to be able to identify male chicken or female. And so I think the ordinance here is not culturally sensitive to people who know exactly how to use chicken. And I think the board don't understand rooster. They have no knowledge. People who write law have no clue. They just listen to complain and apply complaint to complain. But I think just to work with this particular definition to verify that, to make it different, I think it would be appreciated. But thank you for taking information.
So is it Joshua, right? Yes. Okay, well thank you. Thank you to dignitaries for showing up tonight. My name is Dao and work for this community worker. So to answer your question earlier about how many chicken can you justify, so to give you an example, I just this year I counted just before I came here. I have used, just for my family rituals, we used 5 chickens. And as we head to the holiday season, I could guarantee you every single family members in this will be using at least 1 chicken for the holiday. So we have a ceremony where we celebrate the New Year. So just think about that in context. Just me, by myself, I use 6 roosters for this year. Actually, make it 7 because I have a event for my baby coming up, because I have a new baby in the house. So you're looking at 7 just for me. And just look at the individuals who came to support this. Everybody needs the rooster. It's part of our way of life as a Hmong community. So I urge that you take these back to the board of supervisors. That is, this by putting up this ordinance, it is not fair to the Hmong community, because here we rely on this for our religion. This is a way for them to slap us saying that you cannot practice your religion anymore. And it goes back to somebody's point earlier. Why not slap the one who are doing the cockfight? Why are we slapping the one who doesn't do it? And everybody needs the rooster here. So, and on top of that too, goes back to everybody, like a lot of the young people, I don't live in the county. I'm not allowed to raise chicken in the city. So I rely on the aunts and uncles here and the grandpas and the grandmas to do that for me. And they support that. So it's very important that you take that to the supervisors, that whatever law they're right now imposing is not culturally sensitive, and the fees are very hefty, because I'm pretty sure when they come out and do an inspection, the $250 for annual inspection, they're gonna impose different regulation, which now you're gonna have your chicken coop is gonna be certain standards, certain size. So now the fees just gonna continue to rack up. And the last part to this rooster is, it's not like you can just go find these at Winco or Foodco. These are roosters that are raised for a specific purpose. And as many have already mentioned, it has to be a 12-month grown. So if you say 5 and under, how are we as community? We're about 30,000 Hmong community in the Fresno County area. How are we gonna be able to sustain here in this Central Valley?
I second Brandon. about the types of roosters or chickens that we have. We are not raising or here not cockfighting chickens. They're not. To be sure, I promise you. The chicken of the rooster that we use has to be specific color, specific wings, the body, the comb color, the feet, the beak. So it's just not any roosters or chicken. Okay? So if you go around and look at 5 chickens, roosters, I would be in penalties forever. Forever. I will be paying fees and fines. Because I honestly tell you right now, I have more than 5 crowing roosters. But I need more than 5. My family needs more than 5. As the new year coming up, Josh, please take this into consideration to the boards too. I already have people call me. Please reserve 2 roosters, 2 hens, 3 little ones, big ones, little ones, this color, this types, the white, the black, the spotty, all kinds of chickens. They already call me. I live in the county, not very far from here. I've been here about 30 years. I never raised chicken. I don't like chickens. I don't eat chickens. But because it is my heritage, we practice, and now I'm doing it. Okay? So please do take this, and we urge you to not pass this. If you want to do something great, go for the one who are fighting. Cockfighting, not us. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for being here. My name is Tom Vang, and I know a lot of guys have spoken tonight, but I'm going to speak for myself. I'm a female, and I love raising chickens. I have chickens in my backyard. I'm a backyard chicken girl. I just listened to what you said about, the exemption, and I'm just going to fail miserably. Why? Because I don't know what the terminology would be, but my chickens are mutts. So I can't categorize that it's this breed or that breed because I just love them, and then I just let them do what they need to do, and then I have a bunch. And so if I have to categorize where my chicken is, what breed it's from, then it's just not going to work for me as an individual. And I can probably say that 90% of the old Hmong people in here that don't speak English fall under the same category too, because we just love chicken, but we don't know what breed it is. We just say that's the black one, that's the red one, that's the yellow one, that's the white feet one, that's the yellow feet one, and that's how we describe our chicken. So, that little thing about, the exemption is just not going to work. And I can tell you that right off the bat. And then just, to furthermore go with this, I know that the community here is talking about, religious practices, and yes, that's true, absolutely. But, we're Hmong Americans, and I feel like this is just taking away our basic human rights. We get taxed for property, we get taxed for our cars, we get taxed for gas, we get taxed for whatever. We get taxed for everything. And this new ordinance now is going to say, we're going to tax you for whatever you put in your backyard, and that's not fair. We came to America, and I don't want to pay a small fee for my rights, I understand that, I understand that Fresno has grown. I moved here in 2001 when Leonard and Thompson and DeWolf seemed so far away from Blackstone. And now it's almost like the center of Clovis, that's where my family is if I want to see them. And I live all the way over there in 99 in Ashland. So it's just, I understand that the community is growing, and it's hard for these new people that move into the county areas that can't stand the chicken crowing and the cows, and I have sheep in my backyard, I have chicken, I have dogs, and it's just like they come after the chickens, and then what are they going to come after next? Then it's going to be you can't do sheep, and then you can't do this, and then before you know it, it's like, well, we just want to walk through your house because we just want to know. And I just feel that that's just infringing on my right as a human, a person. So I would just flat out go no. And then you asked a question earlier about can we quantify the number, and I was just kind of sitting there thinking like, that's hard. Everybody kind of said that's hard, but it's almost like I've participated in a lot of funerals enough where people come and say, hey, do you have chickens? We need chickens for this funeral. So I can count in my head that I've had to sell 6 chickens, 1 male, 1 female. I've had to give up 2 roosters and whatnot. So, I mean, you guys have records of death records. If you guys go in, you just pull up all the records of the Hmong people that died and times that number by 7 roosters or 7 chickens per dead person in Fresno County, or you times that by every birth by like 4 chickens. That gives you a number. It's not an exact number, but it gives you a ballpark of like, hey, this is what's going on, and that number is going to be very extreme. So I'm not sure how we're going to meet in the middle in all of this. I think you just have to vote it out. That's my opinion anyway.
So that's my wife, okay? I'm gonna piggyback off of her and a little bit off of that. And what I'm gonna say is, number one thing is, most of the elderly won't be able to afford, and even they get exempt, there's still going to be people who come expect your place, and definitely that's gonna be more cost. And like my wife just mentioned, if you put this out there, she's an English teacher, okay? So we are going to find a way to get a license because she can read all the stuff. But 90% of the elderly Hmong community will not be able to even know where to find or how to apply for the license. And at the same time, if this ordinance passed, there could potentially be a big majority migration out of here. And we don't want to do that because we've been here, I've been here since '81. My wife thinks that Thompson was way far. To me, Blackstone was a big street. So my family has a strong root here. I do not want to go anywhere else. And this ordinance could potentially make my family move because of our religion, and I don't want that to happen. Thank you.
All right, Josh, thanks for being here. You got the hot item. But I want to ask you, what are some agreements you want to agree today for folks who's here today? Because they want to hear what Nathan's going to do. Is Nathan willing to meet with him? And there's some people who are leaders in our community that can meet with Nathan. What are some agreements that you can agree today for them? So their time is not wasted, because I see a lot of love from my community. And I don't want us just to hear to have a voice. I also want to hear what your leader is going to do for our Hmong community. So that's really important. And then what are some changes for us to expect? And then are they going to postpone Tuesday votes? Or what are some, for us to see forecasts, because it's important that we're transparent with our community so they know exactly what's going to happen. Because on Tuesday, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a full house. So if you can forecast what's going to happen, that's going to be important for me. And when they leave, I'm going to be able to sleep at night, because I was not able to sleep at night yesterday because I got people rolling in my house, knocking at my door around 7, 8, 9, 10. I kid you not, my phone was like just ringing off the hook, okay? And I want to also thank my superintendent, Misty Hur, for being here today. I called her because I told her, hey, we have a lot of families in our community, especially in Fresno Unified, who also lives in the city, who goes to our school, who's also being impacted. So that's why I reached out to her to let her know that our Hmong community wants her to be here tonight, because we're in the 3rd largest district in Fresno, and we want to make sure that that she's here to represent our families. And so I want to hear your agreement. Okay.
I just wanted to offer, well, first of all, thank you for the invitation, and I learned a lot tonight. I really appreciate everybody sharing their heartfelt sentiments about this and about how much all of this means to the community. I just wanted to offer, if you, as supervisor, want to do listening sessions or anything, we stand ready with our facilities. Southeast Fresno is home to a lot of the Southeast Asian community, and so we'd be happy to host you at our facilities to have some community listening sessions or anything if you'd like to do some community outreach.
first off, I want to thank everyone for having me here tonight, for allowing me to speak, for allowing me to listen, to learn about the community, about the history, the culture, the religious practices. First off, I want to say that I cannot speak for Supervisor Magsig on what he will do. I'm going to sit down and discuss all of these concerns with him. I'm going to let him know that the community is willing to have listening sessions with him to further explain and to further articulate how this ordinance will negatively affect the Hmong community. On Tuesday, I can tell you there are 3 potential scenarios that could happen. Number 1, the board could pass the ordinance as it stands, as it's written. Number 2, the board could choose to modify this ordinance in whatever way they deem necessary, depending on the will of the board. Or 3, the board could vote down this ordinance completely. There's 5 members on the board. I only represent 1. The other 4 members can make their decisions as they see best for their constituents and their district. So I can't speak for any of the other individuals, but those are the 3 potential scenarios that can happen. I can tell you this, we are very concerned with the feedback that we've been getting. We have had many folks in the past that I've shared and currently that have expressed the need for an ordinance, but we've also had overwhelming community support against this ordinance as well. And we are taking all parties into consideration. However, being here tonight, I can see that a modification of this ordinance is not going to satisfy the community and it will not address the needs of the community. And I will be sharing that with the supervisor and letting him know. One of the things we were initially looking at is how we could potentially modify this to really appease both sides and to find a middle ground solution. But I can see that due to the great need for roosters, again, it was mentioned that there were 60,000 Hmong community members here in Fresno and Clovis in the county in general, and I just personally can't see how the ordinance as it stands now would be, even with being modified, could potentially respect the traditions and the culture of the Hmong community. So I will be sharing all this with the supervisor. I will be here to take phone calls, listen to any more community concern. I have a stack of my business cards right here on the table. I encourage each of you to take one before you leave. Please reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to take your calls. If I don't answer my phone, it's probably because I'm on the other line with another constituent, and I will get back to each and every one of you. So thank you again for having me. Thank you for our community leaders and electeds for being here tonight. Thank you to the Fresno Center. We very much appreciate it.
Hey Josh, just a couple more comments. I know Myers summarized everything for you, but I just wanted you to add this into your notes is the ordinance is not only eliminating cockfighting, but the ordinance is trying to rewrite our religion and culture. And that needs to be stated as well. And as you hear from the community, the ordinance is not just impacting how we feel, but it's changing our culture and it's impacting our religion. And if there are other ordinances that are like that with other religions, please let us know so that we can use that as a guide that, hey, when we do these ordinances, we're going to change your religion and your culture for you. If that is the norm. Supervisor Chavez had the taki to almong ta shu ne ne ba khong jing ne ya ito ne chito ne jadi patane no Joshua hai ne la mo chito supervisor se ya pay to vote no se ke kha ordinance na chi ni chi mo through ne je pe lo ha pia pe san tho le ja no chi na thai to ru ka le no ne Joshua na de一路说金宝背下的路说一认为这被他的路好骗子了你说那能挣钱呢de可能在好的一路说么说要那三几年那个那 tax 国那老知道了那个那老人没没老知道但是那个观众那的呀那三几年那个代替头澳门大叔呢那多大被公好大被路公好的呀那多几那多呢那么路上那家那话就注意下啲啊依啥กัน呢ลองอ้อคนเราว่า cancel 是作ว่าตัวเขาเนื้อป้องเราหมดตัว nữa là một chu bê cho cái lịch cái trái nữa là một dùa cái bê long bê nè thì con nữa chậu trái nữa nè bây giờ nữa chậu trái nữa chậu human right nèก็เราจะเรียนมวยของ ordinance เรามวยก็จินดาชดชิตาชิชลาแต่สิ่งที่เรามวยยัวกับไปลองไปเตะก็เลยเกยใจวิเดียอย่าเลยจีนี่อีกอันนึงจอกก็ชิงจังสินะเจตจำน้อยจอกกุศลกับไปเต่าจีไปว่าอีลูชัวนะไปว่าอีลูชัวแล้วทำลองไปคุณเจนเต่าเดียเลยน้อไปเฉลยหายลีไปหายมันนอนอยู่แล้วยังจุดลองซื่อแต่ไปจีสาก็เลยลองจะน้อเรามัวเดียวมัว exemption ตัวนี้ไปสาก็เลยมันคนละตัวแค่หานะ
Rong xia tan da pe me ku tim mong sure to no ku ta ni ku chi sa ka ha de the mainstream pa de khana ya pe ga mong issue ta shi ku sa ka pe sali pa hai ya de I tu to de sa ton ji pe ta ki om mong sure yo chu cho nên mong gì sure yo chu me ka to lu thai khu ta ho lu ta ho lu la mo yo chu la mong ji ka to tu to ka to lu shuo ton gì na ne tu yo khana Joshuaอยู่เขาเราเสด็จถามไม่เจอแล้วนู่น Joshua เราถามเนี่ยกุ้งน้อง Joshua จะรู้ได้เกี่ยวกับจีตัวนี่ตัวจังตัวจีตัวต่อห้องการตัวน่ะจอตัวน่ะตัวสุดตัวน่ะหมายตัวตัวจีดีน่ะเจ้าเลยใช้ตัวเดียวจอเนี่ยตัวถ่ายไปกับเอาลูกขมัวซะน่ะเอ้ยอย่างนี้นะนี่เขาเลือกกุ้งมาถ่ายที่น่ะตัวตัวน้องน่ะต่อจะอยู่ลงมือเงียบต่อผู้ช่วยจะมาเชิญตัวต่อน่ะนี่อยากกายอยากขนาดไปจีอยากเด็ดตัวต่อถึงกับตัวจีนแต่พอหายลิ้นแต่มาตะกี้ไปจุ่มจีกับตัวต่อเนี่ยจุดเจ้ากันนั่นมันจีเดียมาเป็นท้อปอกับปอจุดตัวมันกันนั่นฉันปอจุดให้กับเป็นจีกับตัวหลุดตัวเดียมาจีตุ่มนาเป็นจุดจีกับตาหอเอ้ยวันนี้ยังว่าหอเอ้ยเต้นเราซื้อเนี่ยที่เป็นตัวจีวนะจีน่ะผลเจ้าในตัวปอเป็นที่เป็นตัวปอที่จะรู้ละจีมันตอนเราว่าเจ้าตัวเห็นเจ้าในที่กูตัวยุ่งชานะไอ้น้องเราคนนั้นซื้อก็ที่กูตัวต้องแข่งตัวจีโม่ตัวเย็นตีเป้ซะนะอย่ากูสาเดียกายตัวปอดกับปอดต่างตัวเธอตัวนู้นนอถากันนะจิมาจินจีเลยถาตัวนั่นเลยตอนนี้ไปอยู่จุดต่างกับตาไปมันจะรีบปอจะตัวปอจะเธอชดสิริกันส่วนปอจะชดที่จงตัวกับปอจะหนอจุนันไปเจอกับตากับตัวจีตัวเราไปเจอหรือจงมันหนึ่งปอกเต่าจีพวกหนอซะไอ้ไปที่จงเลยนะอย่าไปเอาวันจีตัวมาไปอยู่จุดตัวนะแต่กินจีเนี่ยต่อจบกันที่ตัว
My name is Leslie Cobb, and I am May's neighbor. It has been humbling to sit here at the table with the entire community this evening. I have had the opportunity many times to attend her home, to attend Jingle Bells, to be a part of the family, and it means so much to me. And she called me at 5 o'clock this evening, and she said, there's a meeting, and I'll pick you up. And I said, let's do it. I went to Nathan Magsick's office the day after the board meeting. I watched the board meeting live. I am the one who began putting the notifications out on social media. I own chickens. I'm a show breeder. My son, he's 16 years old. He has a project. He shows as well. I have concerns about what this ordinance says about children and how it claims to cover our youth, but the second they're out of high school, it drops them like a hot cake. And when I look at the community that I know, our youth get all of their animals for their projects, from the good breeders, from the people who carry on these traditions and these specific breeds. And this ordinance would not only cut this community, it cuts that community. It cuts the meat community. It places unnecessary permitting on us at roughly what you're proposing, $900, which I'm very surprised that the schedule of fees is still the same, even though the ordinance was taken down from 10 roosters to 5, right there at that meeting. I do see that the ordinance or the schedule of fees is the same. That didn't change, or are they still looking at it?
It's going to be $250 for the yearly application, and $240 for the yearly application, and then $440 for the one-time initial fee.
Okay, so it remained the same. You're going to permit more roosters for the same amount of money. Okay. I am wholly against this ordinance in full. I do not believe that the county will negotiate with any group. I do not believe that the county took into consideration any of the culture, the rich agricultural nature that is Fresno County. We are under attack at the entire state level. We all know AB 928, we've been watching it, right? And there's a negotiation occurring at the state level, this large fight. Well, they can't win there, so they're gonna take it out into the community individually and try and pick fights. Is it true that Fresno is the second largest community of Hmong in this country? Yes. I thought so. Google was right. You don't want to lose this community. We don't want to lose this community. They don't want to move. We don't want to have the county put their hand on our face. I acknowledge that there are people who do not like the sound of roosters. Sometimes I don't like the sound of my roosters. Sometimes I want to kill them at 4 o'clock in the morning. But that is my decision. I do not agree with cockfighting. I think it's unnecessarily cruel, and there are large farms. But I also don't trust in the county to be able to differentiate between a cock farm and my backyard breeding program and the differentiation with my Saramas versus my Americanas. I don't believe that the county is going to take those things into consideration when it really should. And I am not here to complain today. Since I watched this, I have secured FresnoCountyRoosters.com, FresnoCountyRoosters@gmail.com, Fresno County Roosters on Facebook and on YouTube. I am networked into the larger organizations like the ABA, the APA, the Greater Society of Poultry Fanciers across California. These organizations are out there. It is not only this community that is calling for this, it is all of these organizations that are calling for this right now. These meetings are happening the same here, and I'm here, I'm the neighbor. This is where I want to be. But I am also a communication major from Fresno State with a bachelor in psychology. And I know people, and I know that if given the opportunity to sit before the board and say, this community can come up with a self-regulating, by the way, all this is in here, I'll give it to you. A self-regulating system, an accountability on the community level that the county doesn't need to get involved with, because it's kind of like we're feeling like you're missing the mark a little bit here, right? So where people are getting their toes stepped on with the noise or with the cockfighting, and you're punching us all in the face. Inappropriate response. So, kind of an overreaction, right?
Fresno Fair's first show. Remember that.
Yes. I'm working.
Yes.
I'm working.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, everyone here, I guarantee you, I will be the first person at that chamber door Tuesday morning. I will be the first person. I will sit by the podium. I am there to speak. I met Brett. I walked upstairs on my break. I met Brett, and I have an appointment with him at 1:30 the day before this is going to the chamber. And I want to hand this to the community. I would like to ask that the community take action. I have put up the event on my page on the Roosters, FresnoCountyRoosters.com. I've put up the event with an RSVP. Okay, if I see what I see here and I see what I see in all of these other groups, it's going to be large. And it should be large, and we should show the Board of Supervisors that we will stand together as a community. We should be organized, and we should be polite. You guys are an example for the whole community. We're going to have people coming out. So I would ask that you would grab a hold of this and send this out, but for my meeting with Nathan, please let him know I am looking forward to it, and that I am not just sitting here saying none of this is acceptable, because it's not, but that I am willing to step forward and say there's an alternative, and that is a self-regulating system that is then going to allow the office to focus on targeting the cockfighting, something appropriate. And this community, the entire community of Fresno County, could use a little rallying. We could use a little togetherness and a little bit of this, that, and the other thing, all in one pot, educating each other, right? And keeping the county off of our properties.
Yep.
So, you're welcome, neighbor.
Tôi nói là nếu tư nó tụi phun lòng đã và xử lý họ tôi nói nửa hai chỉ chia chỉ tôi nữa nó này, ok? chế bé cho họ lử vẫn chỉ xa nó bé chọn ô lê cú nữa ok nó chỗ này chế bé tao mù cổng xe bé tao mù cha bái là một tàu bắt phong đã để có lúc tế lúc thời nó bỏ bé còn nút số thay còn những tập home media nè ô lê cú hay lâu chính gia đâu bé nè trái chạy nó tiêu thời thở ốp phá của chua nè lâu tiêu trực kia bé cho vào bé sẵn cho citizen bé tiêu chỉ bao nè lâu vào các trong nè thì lâu mù vô lâu trái chạy nó tiêu pass nữa tụi nó nhiều đa sao trái chạy nó tiêu pass nữa nè thì bé tao một bắt thuang có lúc tế lúc thời họ nè em qua hồ đâu cho cứ cho ti cho phong cho dư cho nhẹ cho gì cho tu cho kỹ sư đời cú chỉ ra tụ qua cho bay và trà nữa thìวันที่ชานะเจ้ากูต้นดาวแต่เป็นส่วนต้นดาวมาชิ้นยิ่งได้
Okay, so need to move on. Joshua, probably no more comment. Do you have any comment for the community?
Just again, I wanted to say thank you for having me here, for sharing the culture, the history, the religious practices. Again, this has been an incredibly educational experience for me, and I'm going to share everything that I've learned tonight with the supervisor. I think I took about 10 pages of notes, so I've got plenty of stuff to disseminate to the supervisor.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Again.